Good morning to everyone. Myself, Dr. Ramesh Bahadur from Sri Vasantrao Naik Mahavidyalaya, Dharni. So, today we discuss about the elementary idea, sources, types, and use of stem cell. Particularly, this PowerPoint presentation brings for BSc first year student and second semester. So let's we start the basics of the stem cell. First of all, we see the historical background, how the stem cell research began from last 60 years, and it starts from 1960s. The research discovered that the bone marrow contains at least two different kinds of stem cell. One is the hematopoietic stem cell from all the types of blood cells in the body. The second one is bone marrow stromal cells, was discovered few years after this research. The stem cell history from 1998, the researcher first extract stem cells from human embryos. In 1999, the first successful human transplant of insulin making cell from cadavers. From 2001, the President Bush restricts the federal funding for embryonic stem cell research. The 2002, the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation International creates $20 million fundraising efforts to support stem cell research. That is the importance of stem cell research. In 2002, again, the California, the OK stem cell research carry forward. Then in 2004, the Harvard researchers and ballot measures for $3 billion bond for stem cell. That means how the stem cell it's having the more importance in that era. How the stem cell characteristic, we see the stem cell characteristic in blank cells, that is unspecialized, capable of dividing and renewing themselves for long periods of time, the proliferation and renewal. Have the potential to give rise to specialized cell types, that is the differentiation. So we see again how the self renewable, the pluripotent, and how the repair. So self renewal, a cell that has the ability to continuously divide, pluripotent cell, the ability to develop into the several different kinds of cells as well as tissues. Then the repairing mechanism, ability to return function to damaged cells in the living organism. How the types of stem cells, as per the totipotent, the pluripotent, and the multipotent. The description along with their examples, totipotent, each cell can develop into a new individuals, and the best example cell from early 1 to 3 days embryos, the pluripotent cell. The description regarding the cells can from any over 200 cell types. The example is the best example is the some cells of blastocyst 5 to 14 days. Then multipotent cells get differentiated but can form a number of other tissues. The example is fetal tissues, cord blood, and adult stem cells. Okay. Then the types of stem cells mainly differentiated into the embryonic stem cell and the adult stem cells. You see the fertilized egg under the embryonic stem cell from the in vitro fertilization donor, how the blastocysts get appear 5 days old, and the stem cells removed and cultivated under the embryonic stem cell. Another hand, the adult stem cell, they extracted from bone marrow cells, from the bone marrow, and the scaffolding structure behind that. The bone marrow contains many types of cells. They are protocol distinguish these useful stem cells selected and the grown. The muscle cells, neural cells, blood cells, they get appear after the cultivation. Then what are embryonic stem cells? Mainly derived from the embryos organized from egg that have been fertilized in vitro in an in vitro fertilization clinic and donated to research institution with donor consent. The embryos from which human embryonic stem cells are derived are typically 4 or 5 days old and are a hollow microscopic ball of cells called the blastocyst, which includes 3 stages. These are mainly 3: the trophoblast, blastoceles and inner cell mass. We will see the trophoblast, which is the layer of cells that surrounds the blastocyst, and the blastocyst, which is the hollow cavity inside the blastocyst. The inner cell mass, which is a group of approximately 30 cells at one end of the blastocyst. Then embryonic stem cell, how they get differentiated. The embryonic stem cells are derived from an embryo about 4 to 5 days old blastocyst. These cells have the ability to differentiate into all of the cell types that make an whole organism. And that protocol shows how the whole organs and the gut cells, the muscle cells, neural cell, they get differentiated from this early human embryos and whatever the developmental stages going on. Then stem cells are unspecialized cells that have the ability to reproduce and differentiate into a diverse range of specialized cells. So this outlines showing that how the unspecialized cells and reproduce differentiate into the diverse range of specialized cells. So in that case also, how the embryonic stem cells derived from this umbilical cord of newborn babies and is cultivated for or to study for the different cells, mesenchymal stem cells, and differentiate into the chondrocytes, osteoblasts, fibroblasts, adipocytes, neuron, glial cells, and epithelial skeletal muscles. In case the blood cells, the hematopoietic stem cells, the WBCs, RBCs, platelets, like that. So where are the adult stem cells found and what do they normally do? So an adult stem cell is an undifferentiated cell found among differentiated cell. In a tissue or organ can renew itself and can differentiate to yield the major specialized cell types of the tissue or organ, and where adult stem cells are found. The adult stem cells have been identified in many organs and tissues. However, there are very small number of stem cells in each tissue. The adult tissues reported to contain the stem cells include brain, bone marrow, peripheral blood, blood vessels, skeletal muscles, skin and liver. Other types of cells, that is the basic form, the stem cell can also be taken from the umbilical cord of the newborn babies. Like adult stem cell, the cell can differentiate into a limited range of the specialized cell. The normal differentiation of the stem cells, following are example of differentiation pathways of adult stem cell. Number 1, hematopoietic stem cells gives rise to all types of the blood cells such as RBC, WBC, we already seen that. Bone marrow stromal cells, mesenchymal stem cell give rise to variety of cell types: bone cells, osteocytes, cartilage cells, chondrocytes, fat cell, adipocyte, and other kinds of the connective tissues. The neural stem cell, third one is the neural stem cell in the brain, give rise to is 3 major cell types: nerve cell that develop neurons, and 2 categories of non-neuronal cells, astrocytes and oligodendrocytes. The next one is the epithelial stem cells. In the lining of the digestive tract, occur in the deep crypts and give rise to several cell types: absorptive cells, goblet cells, penis cells, and enteroendocrine cells. The skin stem cell occur in the basal layer of the epidermis and at the base of hair follicles. The epidermal stem cell give rise to keratinocytes which migrate to the surface of the skin and form a protective layer. These are the stem cells extracted from the bone, the large bone of the body, the femoral bone, how to collect the bone marrow, and they differentiate into the hematopoietic stem cells and nature of the multipotential stem cells, the lymphoid progenitor, natural killer, T lymphocytes, B lymphocyte. That is the very effective in the immunological aspect. Then in the other hand, the myeloid progenitor cell, they again differentiate into the neutrophil, basophil, eosinophils, the monocytes, macrophages, platelets, and red blood corpuscles. And the other hand, the mesenchymal stem cell, the mesenchymal tissues, that is bone, cartilage, tendon muscles, hematopoietic supportive stroma, adipose tissues, and protocol pathway. And that is very important how they get applicable or application and uses of stem cell in the most eras nowadays in the diseases like diabetes, spinal cord injury, Parkinson disease, heart disease. These disease cured by using these stem cells. Another, the genetic based disease known as cystic fibrosis and Huntington disease. These are the various health problems that might to be created by stem cells and treated by the stem cells. So thank you so much for listening the video on the basic stem cells. So stay safe, stay home. That is the precaution in the pandemic COVID-19. Thank you so much. Once again, please subscribe our channel Zoology Teacher Association from Sant Gadgi Baba Amravati University, Amravati. Thank you, one and all.